decides that he's going to offer his body, at that time, Chakra's throne gets shaken up. So he says, I'm going to test this rabbit. So the next day, Chakra disguises himself as a Brahmin. Click on the subscribe button, especially the bell on the right side. Otherwise, you will miss the latest videos. Welcome to Saptarishis Astrology. We are in the most beautiful temple I found in Gaya. Okay, even in Thailand, I did not find such a beautiful temple. So we are at Gaya and we are at a temple that is called as Thailand Temple. And so I've been traveling next few days. It's Gaya, Patna, Lucknow, Dehradun and many other places trying to find astrologers. We missed one astrologer yesterday. We were supposed to meet him yesterday, who creates your horoscope exact to the degree from your hand. So anyways, what I was telling in the previous video is, 10 years back I started reading Jatakamala. Jatakamala is translated from Pali language and then in Sanskrit, and these are the past lives of Lord Buddha when they refer to him as Bodhisattva. That is before he took birth as Lord Buddha, as Gautam. So in one of the stories, these stories are great examples. I feel, when I started reading them, I used to read them for 3 years, and every night I used to read either Living with the Himalayan Masters by Swami Rama, or Autobiography of a Yogi, or Jatakamala. These used to be, every night I would pick up, read 1 or 2 chapters, think about it and all that. Those are different days when I just started Saptarishis Astrology, or it was actually slightly before that. When I started, that was 2 years before that, or 1.5 years. Anyway, so this is one story that really I like. This is in one lifetime, Lord Buddha, who is referred to as Bodhisattva, he was a rabbit, and he used to stay in a jungle, and he had 3 friends, otter, and 2 more animals. He had. I'm forgetting them now. So he was regarded as a teacher by these 3 friends of his, and they used to regard him as a teacher, as a guru. And even the other bigger animals in the forest used to regard this rabbit, who's Bodhisattva, as a very learned and wise man. So he used to preach every day to these 3 friends, and they would come, listen to him, hear the sermon, and he would say, show compassion to people, show compassion to other animals who are weaker, help the other animals in distress, And one day he says, tomorrow is full moon, so it is called something like Potta Day. I can be technically wrong, the new moon and the full moon in their Buddhist philosophy, I think so, is called as the Potta Day or something, where some rituals are to be performed, some religious observations have to be done. So he said, tomorrow we will not kill any other animal and eat. I think one of them was a jackal or something. So he says, tomorrow we will not take life. If someone is found dead, then you can eat. So he said, that is to be performed. Tomorrow is full moon day, and tomorrow any guest who comes, we have to offer him food, show him hospitality. Any guest who comes to the jungle. So he then says that guest should be given food which is not killed by us. So they say, okay. Now these 3 friends go, these 3 animals, they go. So at that time, Bodhisattva, who is the in the previous lifetime of Lord Buddha, says, I eat only grass, I'm a vegetarian. How can I feed to a guest? Because I presume, I'm assuming in that story that at that time the guests who come, they used to eat non-veg. So he then decides, now this is a big fix. I have taught this to people, I have taught it to my subjects, but how am I going to practice it myself? How can I, without killing somebody, offer food to a guest? Now the biggest question here comes is, they do not know if a guest is arriving or not. They're just assuming. In India we assume that guests come, at our house. Anytime they can come. So he's preparing for a possibility of a guest coming. That too, he does not know who's that guest or whether he's going to come or not, but any guest can arrive. So he then decides that my body, I can offer my body as food to the guest. Now it is said at that time, the story says, in Jatak Mala, the story says that during that time all the gods in the heavens, they were shaken up by this greatness shown by a rabbit, which even humans don't display. And they showered flowers on him symbolically. Now at that time, the king of gods was called Sakra. I have read some books where they say Sakra is Indra Devta, the king of gods. But here in Buddhist literature, it is called as Sakra. So Sakra sits on a throne. When a subject is in need of trouble on earth, Sakra feels it. It is said that. And when Sakra sees an act of kindness, compassion, his throne shakes. So when the rabbit, which is Bodhisattva, decides that he's going to offer his body, at that time, Sakra's throne gets shaken up. So he says, I'm going to test this rabbit. So the next day, Sakra disguises himself as a Brahmin and comes to the forest. And little bit far from where the rabbit is there, he is sitting and he starts crying. Oh, I'm feeling hungry. There is nothing to eat over here and all that. So at that time, all the three friends of the rabbit come along with the rabbit and say, oh, dear Brahman, please give us the great opportunity to display hospitality. So one animal brings some food and says, this goat milk was kept by a traveler at one spot. I have not killed it. Here you can have and take it. Same way, another food says, this person died on his own. This animal died on his own. You can come and eat it. So each of the animal brings food as hospitality to Sakra, who's in the disguise as a Brahmin. So at that time, the rabbit comes forward. So at that time, the Brahmin starts cooking fire, building a fire to cook the food that the other three friends are given. And at that time, the rabbit comes forward and says, I have nothing to give you except grass. So I will happily throw myself in the fire and you can cook my food and eat it. So Sakra says, oh dear rabbit, that's so great of you, but it's not needed. But he insists, no, I will do it. And he throws himself in the fire and his body starts burning. And at that time, Sakra runs and removes him from the fire and says, you have displayed it, not just said it, you have displayed your compassion of hospitality to feed somebody who's hungry. And he then reveals himself that I am Sakra, the king of gods. And he's very happy with all the four animals. And he builds a throne, it seems, I'm not remembering it right now. He builds a throne for the rabbit in the heaven, where the rabbit is placed. So this is the story of compassion. of Lord Buddha in his previous life. That he sacrificed, he even thought of sacrificing himself for somebody who's unknown, and he doesn't know whether that person is going to come or not. He doesn't know if anybody is coming or not. Just that tomorrow a ritual needs to be observed of feeding someone, and that too non-killed. He did this. So anyway, we can all debate, on the greatness of the story and all that. I don't believe in much in debate. I believe much in thinking deeper and finding deeper meanings within a story rather than going into the technical aspect of the story. Sorry, there has been some sound here. We are shooting in outdoor location. In outdoor location, you can't control what other people do. But ponder over it. A rabbit can do this. Any of us humans can do this. We can't. We go to a restaurant with our friend. Okay? Abroad, when you go, you take a friend to a restaurant, you always say 50-50, Dutch or whatever, Here we go to a restaurant with a friend, okay? And it's a normal friend. The first thing we are waiting is who's going to remove the purse first. Who's going to remove the purse first and pay the whole bill, That's the normal culture over here. And some of us are such shameless that we never remove the purse. But you look at Bodhisattva, and these same friends would go to a Buddha temple and bow down. But you look at Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva sacrificed his life for somebody unknown without even knowing whether that person is going to come or not. He had no idea. He just said tomorrow is full moon. We should not kill any animal in the forest. And at the same time, any guest comes, we should sacrifice and give something which is not killed. Think about it. Let's use Jatakamala in our daily life. Thank you. Thank you.